Lewis, do you have any response there?
Just one I've just put on the screen. That was the testimony that I listened to. That was Melissa Caroni testifying in front of the Michigan. I think that was the Senate that she was testifying in front of, and I was trying to figure out actually was she under the influence of something. And I looked at her entire and some other witnesses as well. I think I looked at hours of testimony there. So that's just her on screen. I'd like to ask Paul one question, and then after he responds, I think Cliff mentioned that he wanted to make a comment.
Yes,
so, Paul, you mentioned sometimes controlling one's emotions or id, and if someone goes on to say that you're a thief or this, that, or the other. With today's technology, were I to publish something, and in the past it was a little bit harder to do something, but right now someone can actually go online and make a public statement which may reach, we don't know who it might reach. You know, it may reach one, or it may go viral. So if I were to say, well, you know what, Paul, and I'm going to use some quotes that how I was described. You know, he's full of shit. He's not honest. He's inflammatory. He's insightful. Now, obviously, these are defamatory statements. Would you not, at the very least, ask me to cease and desist with those type of statements publicly? And if I had that concern or that feeling towards you, come to you directly and explain why one might make those statements? How would you handle that situation? I yield.
Well, of course, if it were if the discussion were between you and I, yes, I would ask you, show me the evidence. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you would, I'm quite certain, be more than willing to lay out whatever you had. Then mm-hmm. we could engage in a conversation about the weight, relevancy, and sufficiency of the evidence. And your evidence might just persuade me. Or I might.
But if I were online and with a discussion of 2, 3, 4 other people, and I published this on a platform such as YouTube, so now it goes beyond simply you and I.
Yes.
How do you handle that scenario?
Well, I would probably ignore it, and here's the reason why. That individual, and let's just say that they were saying something derogatory about me, and let me just say, I'll use the examples you used that were used against you can be used against me. And I would probably let it go because it was not doing me any provable harm. Now, if it did me provable harm, and if I did find that based on that individual's comment, I started receiving emails telling me from other people, I started receiving emails or comments online that I was, in fact, duplicitous, that I was a liar, that I was a thief. Now that has done me some harm, and then it becomes actionable in law. It becomes actionable in equity, but it's most all of the equity is now in statutory law. So then I would have a right to seek a redress. Otherwise, as long as it's not doing me any harm, I tend to ignore it.
Thank you for your response.
That's the way that I would deal, or I would require my ego to deal with detractors, whether they're online or whether they're in person.
Thank you for your response.